how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Hook Better Leads podcast. And today I have Dmitry Lipinskiy. How you doing, man?
Great.
We're talking about the true cost of Angie Leads.
Angie's List.
Angie List, Home Advisor, Service Magic, IAC Parent. You know them as the guys that don't cancel the credit card payments when you want them to. But I know beyond the scamminess, and a lot of contractors think of them as a scam. Some of them do very well. I've talked to a landscaper. I've talked to certain people that a handyman who's done very well on what's now Angie Leads, Home Advisor. But I want to talk a little bit about the true cost, which is not just the scam aspect, because some of you swear by this as a lead source. I want to talk about how competing for jobs, let's say if you have shared leads, because a lot of these leads, they go out to 3, 5, who knows how many people, that it drives your prices down, it drives your ability to do great customer service down, because you have to get a good, you have to compete on price. And you were talking about it before we started here, it turns you into a commodity. Mm-hmm. So beyond the scam aspect, which, we both heard stuff from former employees and stuff like that, but how is being on these shared lead platforms sometimes turn you into a commodity?
Well, two things. There's when we talk about cost, I think what people don't understand is how much your reviews cost you. Like, what's the price per review? Like, I always, when I run my business, my cost, like, if I would have to put a price on a review, it would be like at least $100. I know it costs me at least $100 to earn that review. So let's say you have 100 reviews on Angie and tomorrow you decided to cancel. Well, first of all, you're gonna lose that. All those reviews are gone, and I know so many I know a contractor in Chicago who had 1,000 reviews with Angie's List, and he doesn't use it anymore. Well, if you multiply it by 100, that's $100,000 loss. Because if you put all the energy in that basket, and it's 50-50, like we just don't realize it, but every platform you give time, it's like marriage. You can't take it back. Like, you spent 3 years with the wrong person, that's 3 years of your life. You spend 3 years with the platform that's gonna screw you later. Let's say you get 100 reviews on Angie's List. Like, actually, that was my mistake. I used to have over 700 reviews on Angie's List, and I only have today 200 reviews on Google. What would happen to my business if I would have 700 plus reviews on Google? So, like, that's opportunity cost more than anything, because the more you play with it, it's definitely comes into cost. And second one is that race to the bottom, as we call it, because now, when if you compare it to referral, so if you go in on a referral appointment, it's you against you. If you go on Angie's List, it's truly a race to the bottom. It's just like, what's the show, Bachelors?
Yeah.
Bachelor? Yeah. When you have one girl and 10 guys. Yeah. That's what Angie is.
Yeah.
So you go, like, why would you be that guy? I want to go where 10 girls picking me, not when I'm competing with 9 guys.
What's the equivalent? Is there an equivalent where it's 10?
Well, door knocking actually would be one.
Yeah.
Like, it's you against you. You pick the neighborhood, you pick them, you choose them. You drive the neighborhood, you're like, okay, I want that roof, this house is nice. They don't pick you.
How do you choose neighborhoods to knock in? Dmitry, when you were doing that?
I don't. Like,
you never had crews knocking or people knocking?
I've never done it, but what you can do, like, for example, on Facebook, you can go and target one zip code and say, okay, I want to target this 10,000 people, and you can give Facebook, $10,000 to reach 10,000 people in a certain zip codes with a certain video. Like, let's say I live in Champlin, Minnesota. I can make a video right now on my phone. Hey, my name is Dmitry. I'm in Champlin, Minnesota, and I want to provide you $99 like free roof tune-up, whatever the message is. I can give it to YouTube actually, to like Facebook, and I can choose who's gonna see that video. And I guarantee you that I'm not gonna be showing up, and 4 other people will be showing up because I chose them. So when you target your homeowner, when you go after them, I mean, it's digital door knocking, if you will. but it's different ball game. But when they call you and 5 others, you have no leverage.
Yeah, exactly. And
And it costs
yeah.
it costs you profit margins because you have to compete on the price. Like you don't have to be the cheapest. I don't think people want the cheap, but you putting yourself, against Chuck and the Truck. You put yourself probably against the one of the best players. And like you have to be really good to do that. It's very hard to build value. Plus, we're already in commodity business. Okay, you're gonna install what? Own scoring shingles, or so does everybody else.
Yeah.
What's so special about you? Like roofers tend to think they're special, next best thing. But if you're honest with yourself, there's 3,000 contractors in Minnesota in all major markets. And there's only 7 products, and there's 3 suppliers. So what exactly? How are you different? It's the same nails, it's the same underlayment. Okay, you have one more certification. That's why they're gonna go with you? Heck no. You have no patents. You have nothing. If you're honest with yourself, you are not that competitive. You're not that, but you can be good. You can be impressive, but your price of doing business with Angie Leads is you just have no leverage.
It's a diversion, let's say, to building your brand, to doing these other activities. Maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's Google, maybe it's door knocking, but creating a spot where you're the only one that they're considering currently, or you're less. I think what it comes down to is we don't even know how many. I mean, do you know how many places Angie, Home Advisor, Angie's List gives? How many people do they give that lead to? Is it 3?
Nobody knows because it's not regulated. Officially, I want to say it's 4, but I would argue, like I have over 10 whistleblowers who reached out to me to tell their story, ex-employees, and they all say the same thing. It's a lie, it's deceiving, the lie to the contractor. Because of the policy of Angie, it's all about money, and nobody knows that. But employees who work there don't know the algorithm.
So you don't have a lead, you have a quarter of a lead. You have a quarter of a lead.
Well, everybody has a quarter of a lead, but also everybody can have a quarter of a bad lead.
Yeah.
Nobody knows because they sell information that's outdated, that's not proving. I mean, one thing was for sure, Angie does what's good for them. They never ever had best interest of a contractor or homeowner.
Real quick story on that. In October, I think it was, recent month, the last 3, 4, 5 months, I saw a really interesting headline. IAC, the parent company that runs Angie's List, Angie had a down month as far as service requests, down 3%. And they've had some issues with their site. With SEO, you got to redirect everything exactly correct, or else you do have a drop if you change domains, and they change from Angie's List to Angie. And in that process, they had lower service requests, but in that same month, it was something like 23% increase in revenue.
Easy.
So down 3% in service requests, up 21% in revenue. How does that happen? I think I just want to ask that question to the audience. Is that because they're just able to sell things that if they don't have service requests, they're just able to sell it more times? That's just a question out there. I don't know.
Exactly. Well, most likely they probably also gonna have a follow-up of 25% more complaints. I mean, 95% of contractors who use Angie does not recommend Angie. What does that tell you? Like if you go right now and make a promo video for Home Advisor, Angie, whatever, you're gonna get 90% dislike ratio on YouTube. Try it. Like if you go and it's like, I swear by Angie, like 90% of people will call you a sellout and say you're full of BS because it doesn't work for 90% of people. Like
they'd probably be a very lucrative sponsor for Roofing Insights if you wanted to.
I mean, but that's the thing. People think that you can promote anything and it's just gonna fly. It's not gonna fly.
Yeah.
Name one other brand that has 90% dissatisfaction rating.
Comcast.
Maybe, but see, like it's also monopoly.
Yeah, exactly.
There's like I don't have option to have anyone else in my building. Comcast or not. That's it.
And I mean, for investors, somebody called me because of our content about Home Advisor at one point, and
Investors call
an
you?
investor called me.
Yeah,
and
me too.
And we're just asking about their prospects because there's actually not that many ways that Wall Street can invest in home services, home improvement. I mean, you got Home Depots, you got whatever, but as far as like marketing in the home services space, like Home Advisor, Angie's List, that's one of the places that they can invest. So they were asking like, is this really gonna be like, are contractors gonna stop ever investing? And I had to tell them, no, I don't think there'll always be a sucker. There will always be a sucker for home advisor.
I would disagree.
Okay.
I think what's going to happen is it takes one major scandal.
Yeah.
It takes one major story. Like right now, they have a class action lawsuit against them.
Yeah.
I think the way media works, the way stock works. If something bad happens, like if like we have plenty of whistleblowers, but if someone on a higher level, it like one of the risks for those companies, it's major. Like think about BBB 20, 30 years ago. Yeah, BBB is always going to be there. But remember when BBB got roasted by 2020? Like they have to disassociate themselves with the California BBB who ran a story on Hamas. That was devastating story that pretty much ruins credibility of BBB. I think what will happen is Home Advisor, and it's already happening, Home Advisor are going to approve and recommend like child molester who's going to go and like they already recommended many contractors who stole money, right? So people would find a contractor on Home Advisor, but it's one thing to steal $50,000, but it's another thing if he will do something sinister. So now it's like news companies will crucify Home Advisor for making that connection because we all know they're not doing background checks. We all know it's a pay to play, and if you cannot qualify to be on Home Advisor, your wife can bypass you. Like I actually talked to the wife of the husband who their sales rep from Home Advisor told them, they told the rep that husband has a felony. He's like, not a problem, we're gonna run background check under you, but I'm not even owner, it doesn't matter. And they enrolled them. So they called me and told the story because it was like a script. He knew exactly what to say. Okay, if husband has a felony, let's just do it under wife. Well, think what will happen if that felon will do something sinister. I mean, what news stories
you think there will be something that blows up there?
Sooner or later. I mean, when you have 200,000 contractors doing stuff, I mean, look at Uber. Like, do you remember who is it that resigned, like Uber CEO or something? He was like very rude. What happened to Uber stock? What happened to Uber culture? Like major stories like that, they break the internet and they break the companies.
So I was at a conference recently and somebody from Angie talked to me and they said they had recognized me apparently. And they knew you too.
Of course.
So somebody that worked there that was just an employee, they're not like high up or anything, but they said they watched your videos before they started at the company. So you really believe that they are kind of a corrupt system. So for somebody considering working at Angie or for Angie right now, what would you say to that person?
I mean, if you don't have ethics, like I can read you email I just got on November 22nd. Person said, like, if you honest people cannot work there. It's a cult. That's how ex-employees describe it. If you go to glassdoor.com and you read negative reviews, you will see exactly that. It's a cult. So they build this culture where young people can have a lot of fun. There's beer, alcohol, drugs indoors. Everybody's kind of it's atmosphere. So they build it in a way like, and I talked to quite a few whistleblowers who used to work there. It's a cult. It's hard to escape. It's like getting in a bad company. You need help to get out of a bad company. Like I'm talking about like on the streets, like how do you get in a bad company? It's a bad friends, a bad influence. So money might be there, but just be careful. You're playing with the fire. It's not the company that has a good reputation in the marketplace. It's not the company it's a money-driven company. I mean, we can like movies like Wolf of Wall Street, and it fascinates us. You know, like drugs in the office and hookers and cocaine. You know, there's definitely place and time when we might almost like admire it. When you're like in your 20s, that's what you want. You want to party. You want to have like, and they will attract some talent, but it also can ruin your life. And sooner or later, like if you want to do what's right, Home Advisor is not the place. You will be asked to lie to contractors, to deceive contractors. And if you're gonna ask questions, you will be fired, and they'll come after you.
So I want to talk real briefly at the end here just about, I've seen some good numbers, you know, just to contrast all this with some contractors doing well with Angie Leads. I've seen some numbers. Somebody gave me their whiteboard with all the numbers on it. Boom, 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 boom. Their average roof, in this case it was a roofer, their average roof was 10K-ish. Would you say that means that, like, hey, I'm not an actual roofer. So does that mean potentially that they're driving their numbers down, or is 10K like a normal?
It really depends. I mean, 10K means nothing. You can sell $10,000 job and lose money, or you can have 80% profit margin. So by itself, 10K means nothing, but it definitely can work. And there's a lot of pockets in the country, and you can definitely use it to your advantage. Like if you're the only one, or if you've been grandfathered in, if you're like been very long and you already have reviews. I know a lot of contractors who don't even pay Angie's List or Angie or Home Advisor. They just turn it on and off, and they still get the traffic, because Home Advisor, Angie's List still gonna have a traffic to the website. They still have.
They're very good at Google, by the way.
Yes, they are. And I don't think you can be very successful if you're brand new in markets like Chicago. But if you're in a small pocket like in Wisconsin and population 2,000, you can actually, you know, be where, like, it works well for like handyman people. And if you're spending 5% of your budget on marketing and you give it all to Home Advisor, you might be but I would argue that there's better places to spend. I would rather spend on Google, where Home Advisor spends their money, and eliminate the middleman.
Exactly.
So why do you even need them in the first place?
All right, well, thank you so much for chatting with me about this. Hey, they rebrand every 2 years, so we'll just have to keep creating this video every time they rebrand.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, but appreciate you joining me. Where should people check you out if most of the people watching this will know who you are? But.
Roofing Insights YouTube channel. Or type in Home Advisor on YouTube, you'll see my face.
Yes. And the podcast is put on by hookagency.com, Hook Agency all over social. Thanks for joining.